Watch Kash Patel get cornered by his own words. Just months ago, he demanded the FBI release Jeffrey Epstein's complete client list, calling it evil to protect the world's greatest predator. Now he's FBI director with direct control over those files. Congressman Raskin just confronted him with his past statements, and Patel's response reveals exactly why we should be terrified about who's running America's top law enforcement agency.
Yields back. Gentleman from Maryland is recognized.
Thank you kindly, Mr. Chairman. Director Patel, before you joined the FBI, you railed against it for covering up Jeffrey Epstein's human trafficking ring. Let me refresh your memory with this clip.
It has Epstein's list. They're sitting on it. That doesn't seem like something you should do. You're protecting the world's foremost predator. That seems like an evil thing to do, regardless of who may be embarrassed in the release of that list. Why is the FBI protecting the greatest pederast, the largest scale? Why is the FBI protecting the greatest pederast, the largest scale pederast in human history?
Simple, because of who's on that list.
So you finished that December 2023 interview with a challenge to the FBI and harsh words for Republicans in Congress for not getting the Epstein files out to the public. You can see this clip.
Boy pants, and let us know who the pedophiles are.
Put on your big boy pants and let us know who the pedophiles are, you said. You emphasized that the president and FBI director each had complete authority to release Epstein's client list. You said Epstein's black book is under the, quote, direct control of the director of the FBI. Look at this clip.
This is way off the topic, but who has Jeffrey Epstein's
Black Book?
Black Book?
FBI.
But who? That is, I mean, there's...
Oh, that's under direct control of the director of the FBI.
All right, so you were sworn in as director more than 200 days ago. Now the Black Book is under your direct control. So why haven't you released the names of Epstein's co-conspirators in the rape and sex trafficking of young women and girls?
The Rolodex, which is what everybody colloquially refers to as the Black Book, has been released.
Oh, no, you're talking about what the journalist got 5 years ago? No, that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about what you were talking about there,
That's
the Black
exactly
Book
what I
under
was
the direct control of the FBI director.
We have released more material than anyone else before. The Biden administration, Obama administration had the exact opportunities to release this material, and they never did. And if you are selling the men and women of the FBI,
Why
we're not going after child predators. Hang on, you said we're not going after child predators. 1,500 child predators arrested this year, 35% increase.
I'll reclaim my time.
4,700 child victims
Mr. Chairman, I'm going to
found.
reclaim my time if you could instruct the witness. Why have you changed your position? There you were saying it's under the direct control of the FBI director and all of it should be released. Why have you changed your position?
Everything that has been lawfully permitted to be released has been released. And as I told you,
Really?
the investigation was limited. And let me make something crystal clear. I never said Jeffrey Epstein didn't traffic other people, other women, and they're not other victims. This is the investigation we were given from 2006, 7, and 8, and the search warrants from 2006, 7, and 8. That's what we're working with.
Well, wait, have you released all of the stuff that the FBI has seized from Epstein's house? The computers, the emails, the file cabinets, the documents? What about the financial records? Have you released all of that?
Everything the court has allowed us to
Which
release.
court are you talking about?
3 separate federal courts have come in and said...
We're talking about the evidence you've got. It's got nothing to do with what those courts have.
Do you have any idea how the law works?
Wait.
Do you want me to break the law in a federal judge's order?
No, I want you to follow your own word, Director Patel. You said up there it was under the direct control of the FBI director. He had the Black Book.
Everything I have direct control over, we have gone to court. You haven't.
Complete your sentence. Everything you have direct control over, you said.
Have gone to court, and everything we have direct control over.
Complete your sentence. You said everything.
Release. We're releasing.
He'd like to complete his answer.
You began the sentence, everything you have direct control over, and then you stopped that sentence. You've released everything that you have direct control over?
And I have direct control over and can lawfully release. If you're not familiar with the court orders, that's not my fault.
Oh, I'm
Go
perfectly,
look at them.
I'm perfectly familiar
court.
with them. But how did we prosecute Ghislaine Maxwell?
She was prosecuted with the investigatory material that was collected from 2001 and 2005 because of the non-prosecution agreements and the court orders on the investigations and search warrants. We were not able to develop new information. And oh, by the way, Jeffrey Epstein was out for 12 years, and the Obama and Biden administration did nothing to look at his work, his pedophile network. If you want to blame me, that's fine. But now you're blaming the men and women who conducted this great search.
I'm not blaming anybody other than you. You're not keeping your word. You said that you would release all of the materials under your direct control.
Has anyone released more information on Epstein than I have? Has anyone?
Much more.
Did Comey? Did Ray?
Much more.
Did they?
Excuse me. Much more has come out in the days since the American people in Congress have been demanding it, but it's coming out in dribs and drabs. Why don't you just release the entire file as you promised to do?
I literally just told you, there are multiple federal court orders. I'm not going to break the law to satisfy your curiosity. You didn't join us when we filed court to release the court orders. You could have. You have lawyers. You could have shown up. You didn't do that.
That's a tiny fraction of the material we're talking about.
That is not.
It is a tiny fraction.
How do you know that? Have you seen everything?
It's all misdirection.
How do you know
The time
that?
of the gentleman has expired. The gentleman from California.
What Congressman Raskin accomplished in those 4 minutes wasn't just political theater. It was a masterclass in exposing the dangerous gap between campaign promises and institutional power. When someone spends months demanding transparency as a private citizen, then immediately reverses course once they control the very files they once criticized, you're witnessing something far more troubling than typical Washington hypocrisy. The pattern Raskin exposed is textbook institutional capture. In December 2023, Patel was unequivocal. The FBI director has direct control over Epstein's black book and should put on your big boy pants to release everything. He called protecting these files evil and accused the FBI of shielding the world's foremost predator. Those weren't measured policy critiques. They were moral accusations designed to build public pressure for total transparency. Fast forward to his confirmation hearing, and suddenly Patel discovers the complexity of federal court orders, prosecution agreements, and legal constraints that somehow didn't exist when he was demanding releases from the outside. This isn't learning on the job. It's calculated misdirection. The same files he called easily releasable under direct control are now trapped in legal complexity that prevents any meaningful disclosure. This reversal matters because it reveals how power transforms accountability demands into accountability avoidance. Patel's pre-appointment rhetoric served a clear purpose: building credibility with audiences demanding justice for Epstein's victims, while positioning himself as someone who would break institutional patterns of secrecy. But once inside the institution, those same demands become threats to the very power structure he now represents. The legal distinctions Patel now emphasizes: court orders, prosecution agreements, jurisdictional limits, aren't new developments. These constraints existed when he was making his public demands. Either he was deliberately misleading the public about the FBI director's authority, or he's now using legal complexity as cover for political convenience. Neither option inspires confidence in his commitment to the transparency he had championed. Raskin's questioning also highlighted a deeper problem with how we evaluate public officials. When someone builds their reputation on attacking institutional failures, then immediately adopts those same institutional defenses once in power, we're seeing preference falsification on a massive scale. The criticism was never principled, it was positional, designed to serve political advancement rather than genuine reform. The human cost of this flip-flop extends beyond political credibility. Epstein's victims and their advocates believed Patel's promises of unprecedented transparency. His reversal sends a clear message: campaign rhetoric about justice and accountability evaporates once you're inside the system those promises were supposed to reform. This isn't about partisan politics, it's about institutional integrity. When the people we trust to run our justice system demonstrate that their core commitments are negotiable based on their position within that system, we lose the foundation for accountability that democracy requires. Raskin exposed not just Patel's inconsistency, but a fundamental question about whether any promises of reform can survive contact with institutional power. The exchange should worry anyone who believes justice institutions should operate on principle rather than convenience. If transparency advocates become secrecy defenders the moment they gain access to power, we're not reforming institutions, we're simply rotating the personnel who maintain their dysfunction. What makes Patel's reversal particularly dangerous is how it weaponizes legitimate legal procedures as political shields. By invoking court orders and federal constraints, he's not just avoiding transparency, he's teaching future officials how to use the system's complexity as camouflage for broken promises. This creates a blueprint for how institutional capture operates. Promise radical change from the outside, then cite institutional reality as justification for maintaining the status quo from within. The broader implications reach far beyond the Epstein files. If the person chosen specifically to shake up FBI culture immediately adopts the agency's traditional secrecy reflexes, what hope exists for meaningful reform in any federal institution? Patel's transformation from transparency crusader to institutional defender suggests that the system's gravitational pull towards self-protection overwhelms individual commitments to change regardless of how loudly those commitments were proclaimed.